Blog.
Voted by the WWE Universe as the greatest intercontinental champion of all time is the Honky Tonk Man. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Welcome, fans, to a very special edition of Shake Rattle Roll as we pay tribute to the legendary Macho Man Randy Savage. If you'd like to call us tonight and share your memories of the Macho Man, you can call us on 805-727-7113 and join tonight, as always, by the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, Honky Tonk Man. How are you doing tonight?
Well, you know, Steve, it's a solemn occasion here at my house and around the world. For Macho Man Randy Savage, and as you said, we're dedicating our show tonight to a real legend, a real hero of mine, and we're going to get into all that later. We're dedicating it to Macho Man Randy Savage, who passed away on Saturday morning, and as you said in your English language, and I will put it in American English, in my Southern way of saying it, 805 727-7113. That's 805-727-7113 for all the fans out there. And let me, before we start our tribute to Macho Man, let me send out a really big thank you to Ken Shamrock, who was supposed to be our guest tonight, our special guest. And in light of what happened with Macho Man, when we contacted Ken was more than happy to say that he would be rescheduled at another time, because it's only fitting that we, and he was so proud that we were doing this tribute, that he gave up his time tonight and will be with us at another time. So for Ken, if you're out there listening, and for all the Ken Shamrock fans who are listening, stay with us, because we do have some MMA news. And thank you, Ken, for giving up your spot tonight so that we can honor the Macho Man.
Okay, and I obviously like to thank all the fans joining us in the chat room tonight, as they do each and every week. And we've had a lot of good feedback for tonight to put on a really good tribute for the Macho Man. Yes,
and before we get started with everything, I'll tell the fans what we have coming up, along with the tribute to Macho Man Randy Savage. And like I said earlier, my condolences go out to the fans of Macho Man, to Macho Man's family, his mother, of course, to Lanny Popo, who was part of one of our biggest shows that we've had. And hopefully Lanny will come on at a time when it's fitting for him, and we can talk some more. And to Macho Man's wife, and to all the people who were part of Macho Man Randy Savage's immediate family and friends, and our condolences go out to them. And I want to mention to all the fans, now get your pad and pencil ready, because we're going to, as we go along tonight, we're going to continue to tell you how you can make a donation in the name of Macho Man Randy Savage to the All Children's Hospital in Tampa, Florida. For you people around the world, the All Children's Hospital in Tampa, Florida, and any donations go to that hospital that Randy was very fond of, and was always it was his top charitable event that he did every year. And Lanny, when we reached out to Lanny Poffo, Lanny said if anyone wants to do anything in the name of Macho Man Randy Savage, do it to All Children's Hospital, Tampa, Florida. And I think, Steve, you have the .org or .net or .com link.
Yeah, it's www.allkids.org. That's the official website for the hospital, and I know personally Randy raised a lot of money for the children there for many years, and he visited the children every single Christmas and did what he could to make their dreams come true. It's allkids.org if you want to visit the website and make a donation in the name of the Macho Man.
Yes, allkids.org to make this donation, or you can do it by sending something and get the address to All Children's Hospital in Tampa, Florida, which was one of his charities that he took a real heart-warmed effect to, and that's where Lanny said send everything. And on the Macho Man's ceremony, it is a extremely private ceremony that is somewhat the same way that Honky Tonk Man would have his. No fans invited, just very, very close family, and very quiet and very subdued, and that's how he wanted it, and that's how it's going to be.
Okay, we already have some fans coming through on the phone line, Honky, if you want to take some calls.
Okay.
Okay, 954680. You're on the air with HTM.
Oh, hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hi, sorry about that. First of all, thank you for taking my call. I am a huge fan of Honky Tonk, so I thank you very much, sir, for taking my call. Growing up, I used to watch the Macho Man all the time. He was one of my childhood idols. I remember the first match that he's ever done was WrestleMania 5 against Hulk Hogan, and I got to tell you, just his athletic ability, his persona, just everything all around made him such a wonderful athlete, and I'll be forever grateful to experience that match and to continue watching his career in the days with WCW, NWO, stuff like that. So, Macho Man, what a great athlete, man. I mean, he was gone too soon. I'm gonna miss him like crazy. I mean, I'm gonna stay up late, watch YouTube videos of him. WrestleMania 3 against Ricky Steamboat for the Intercontinental title, just one of the greatest matches ever in WrestleMania history. I don't know what to say. I can't say enough just to thank him, and I know he's in a better place right now, and all the fans are going to agree with me. He's one of the greatest entertainers ever to step in the wrestling circle. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you again for taking my call. Macho Man, rest in peace. We'll miss you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those kind words. And I think that's the heartfelt way around the world when all the major news organizations pick up on something like this and they report on it. It becomes a national and an international news story. And I had so many matches with Randy, and we had a chemistry that it could never be duplicated. I couldn't duplicate it with any other wrestler because he was so uniquely different in the way he approached things, and he was able to gravitate toward what I did, and he and I were able to do things that other wrestlers and myself could never do, and I could never try to duplicate matches that I had with Macho Man with any other wrestler. And he was so intense and such a professional that, I got the news. We were in California this weekend waiting on Lanny Poffo, his brother, and I were to be in a tag team match Saturday night in Newark, California. And Lanny landed in Dallas to change planes when he heard the news, and it was, not to say anything, that it was great that he was able to get the news in Dallas as opposed to coming all the way to San Francisco and then to turn around and fly back 6-7 hours to Tampa. That he was able to, and American Airlines is to be commended because they were able to work around and change his ticket to get him back to Tampa to be with the family as soon as possible. Yeah,
and I mean, it's a very tough time for Lanny right now. I mean, they lost their legendary father, the great Angelo Poffo, of March of last year, and I really can't imagine what he's going through right now, and it must be nice for him to know that, so many millions of fans have the family in their thoughts and prayers.
I don't know of any family in the wrestling business who was more close to their father and to each other and to their mother than Randy, Lanny, their mom, and to Angelo than these four people. And of course, lovely Elizabeth, which was part of that family who was taken away from us much too soon before she was able to reach that level of a live and living Hall of Famer. And the same goes with Macho Man, and of course he is a Hall of Famer no matter what anybody says, and one of the great. When I say I'm the greatest of all time, I think Macho Man would have said, "Ooh, wait a minute, Honky Tonk Man, I'm not sure if you're the greatest of all time."
Okay, if we go back to the phone lines, 620-388, you're on the air with HGM.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys. Hey, Honky. I understand this is your show. I've always wanted to call in, and of course, when I've called in, it's been way too late. But I want to say I grew up a huge fan of wrestling from 1990 onward, and starting from Macho Man's career in the WCW during the 90s. I mean, I honestly go back to watch some of the great matches he had with Andre the Giant, Ricky Steamboat, George Steele, people like that. And Macho Man will be missed. There is no doubt about that in my mind. I mean, I got the news from one of my friend's mother. She told me recently that he had passed away, and I didn't believe it at first. But now it's just sad. I mean, and honestly, this is just an impression. I'm not sure how good this is, but like you said, this is what Macho probably might have said in one of his interviews, I believe it was, "And the beat goes on, yeah. And the beat goes on, yeah. Talking about, we're coming at you, in the light, yeah." Anyway, but yeah, like I said, this must be, this is probably a tough time for Lanny and and his entire family and all that. And like I said, I mean, rest in peace, Macho. I mean, I'm pretty sure tonight on Raw they're going to be probably doing a tribute to him. And like I said, Macho Man, rest in peace. And one day I hope to see you in heaven, brother.
Thank you so much. And yes, last night on the No Way Out pay-per-view, WWE did give a opening tribute, and possibly tonight, which they've had time to put more tribute together, they will have a nice tribute to Macho Man. And it's like I said, tonight's show is a tribute to the Macho Man Randy Savage, and anyone who wants to send any donations out, make sure that you send it to the All Children's Hospital in the name of Macho Man Randy Savage, Tampa, Florida. And again, I want to say to all the fans that might be UFC, MMA fans who wanted to listen to us with Ken Shamrock tonight, Ken was so very moved, and I appreciate the fact that Ken told us that he would be more than happy to reschedule at another time so that we could do this. And with that, Steve, let's take a break.
Okay, guys, so we'll be back in a few seconds, and if you want to call in to the show and share your thoughts on the Macho Man, you can call us on 805-727-7113, and we'll be back in a few moments.
SportsTalkNetwork.com, the internet broadcast giant for sports talk and entertainment programming, now features market-specific sports sites in over 1 dozen cities, including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Canada. And we're not done yet. More markets launching soon. Your cities, your teams, your passion. We are SportsTalkNetwork.com.
This is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're logged on to SportsTalkNetwork.com.
You're now live with the greatest WWE Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Welcome back, fans, to Shake, Rattle, and Roll, a special for the Macho Man Randy Savage. Honky, we've had some questions from the chat room asking if you think that WWE will air a Macho Man tribute tonight.
I would think so. I think they would. Even though they did it on the pay-per-view, I think they would do it for the live audience and for the millions of fans who tune in every Monday night to see the Raw show. And let me mention this real quick for all the fans out there. Hulk Hogan, Hogan, you have been extremely silent on Macho Man, other than, I guess you went on the Above the Love Sponge at the 10 a.m. this morning when most people you knew were not going to be listening. But then you did a short little Twitter. But we ask you now, Hogan, call in. Call us now. We're not going to talk to you about TNA or anything about that. We want to talk to you about the Macho Man, because you and him were extremely close at one time, and you were extremely far away at one time. But then he stopped in the hospital to see you, to say hello, and to bury the hatchet. So we would love, and all the fans out there, if you have the Hogan Twitter account or the TNA number, call them and say, why can't Hogan at least come on the show and talk about his memories of Macho Man Randy Savage?
Okay, and if we go back to the phone lines, 412-445, you're on the air with HGM. 412, what was your question?
Hello, this is Russ. I'm basically just calling to say thanks to everybody, even Honky Tonk Man, for having shows like this to speak about Macho Man. I'm very nervous that they're not going to do him due justice tonight by, I think there should be a 2-hour show for the guy. I'm 30 years old. My parents were nice enough back then when I was, anywhere from 8 to 12, buying pay-per-views 4 times a year. And Macho Man was a big part of my memory. I'm going to ask Honky Tonk Man what his favorite Macho Man memory is. I just wanted to let him know my favorite program was when Macho Man was aligned with Zeus. Macho Man was such a talented guy that he made a non-wrestler guy. A guy who was an actor, ended up in the Friday movies as Devo. He was so talented that he made that guy scary. And that guy was sorry for my language, he was a movie character. So I just thought with Sherry and Beefcake and Hogan, it was a very memorable program that lasted on television for months. And I just wanted to know what Honky Tonk's favorite Macho Man memories, and did he like the Zeus programs?
That was really a great comment. And it is a family show, but you did correct yourself and said you were sorry.
And I'm very sorry.
And we appreciate that. Macho Man was such a talented individual that he could go out there with anyone and have a great match, no matter if they were a Hollywood movie star or if they were just some person off the street. And that's what set him above a lot of other characters or people in our business. But mind you, back in our era, and I'm not going to toot the horn of all the guys that I was with and Macho was with, but we all came and were cut from the same mold, and we could do just about the same things. It's just that my fondest memory of the things that we did, and we're going to play a clip in just a few minutes from One Wrestling that did Bill Apter did a thing with me the other night, and it's about how Macho Man, every match we had, he wanted the next match to be better than the one we had before, and that was a true professional. He didn't rest on his laurels. He didn't say, I'm lazy tonight, I don't feel good, let's just do the same thing we did every night. Come on, man, forget about it. No, he was always, he pushed me to my, ooh, yeah, outer limits, brother. So he pushed me to my outer limits to get the best out of me when maybe I was not quite as up to the match as he was at that time, and that's some of the memories, and I have so many we're going to share tonight.
Okay, well, thanks so much for your question, and we've had another question from the chat room. Honky, was the Macho Man as intense a person personally as he seemed on camera?
He was the Macho Man 24/7. The voice was there. The look in his eyes was there. The intensity level was there. When I was with him in the old WCW before, I didn't stay around long enough to meet a lot of people or have too much fun there. But the first time we met back in WCW, he came in, he came over, stuck his hand out and said, "Ooh, yeah, Honky Tonk Man, yeah. How are you?" And I said, in his own voice, "Ooh, Macho Man, it's good to see you again." And we shook hands and just people don't understand. Although Randy was extremely hard to get to know, which a lot of wrestlers were, but if he was your friend, he was your friend. And if he wasn't your friend, he would tell you, "Oh, I don't like you." And if he didn't like you, he didn't like you. But he gave you a chance for him to open the door to be liked. And if you treated him with any level of respect, he was there for you. And it's like I said, donated a lot of his time, energy, and money to charity, to All Children's Hospital in Tampa, Florida. And just a sad, sad thing that all of a sudden, driving along, this happens. But I watched this movie with my daughter many, many years ago, named The Lion King. And the whole part of this movie was about the circle of life. When one life is gone, another one is born. And with the passing of the Macho Man, there will be hundreds and thousands of newly born kids in the last day or 2 days, and it's a circle of life. And I understand that Macho Man's wife, his newlywed wife from the days when he was a baseball player in Florida, and they met and they dated and they were reunited after 35 years, which is the most fantastic story that could ever be told. And only Macho Man or the wife or maybe Lanny could reflect on it. But she's out of the hospital now with only minor injuries. But for her to have to sit through this terrible car accident and see what happened to the love of her life for 30-something years, and then they became married again, is so tragic, and it's so bad. Let's take a break, Steve.
Okay, guys, we'll be back in a few moments. And again, if you wanted to call in live to the show and share your thoughts on the Macho Man, you can call us on 805-727-7113, and we'll be back in a few moments.
Your cities, your teams, your passion. SportsTalkNetwork.com, the internet broadcast giant for sports talk and entertainment.
Welcome back to Shake, Rattle, and Roll with Steve Wilton and the Honky Tonk Man. Call us live on 805-727-7113. 805-727-7113.
Welcome back, fans, to a special edition of Shake, Rattle, and Roll. We pay tribute to the great Macho Man Randy Savage. Honky, we've had a question from the chat room about Randy's feud with Jake the Snake Roberts, asking if Randy was actually afraid of snakes.
You know, I really don't know, because at that time, if the fans remember, the Honky Tonk Man, of course, upper-level management, being only one person, Vince McMahon, he and I had a disagreement about a few things, and I had gone on my merry way when that particular feud started. I would probably, if I can, I might try to call Jake in a few minutes and see if he'll make a comment about that one, because I wasn't there for it. But once again, Steve, and for all the fans, Steve is in Bristol, England, which is just outside of London. It's midnight or 12:30 there. So he's staying up late for you guys tonight. He's to be commended. He runs the Sergeant Slaughter website. He runs, of course, honkytonkman.net and Hacksaw Jim Duggan website. And I did an interview on Thursday afternoon on the largest AM radio station in the San Francisco Bay Area. It goes out to it's a 50,000 watt station that goes off most of the whole part of California, part of Arizona, part of Nevada. I mean, this thing goes everywhere, and it's the San Francisco Giants radio station. And one of the last questions that was asked of me was, how was the Macho Man, and what did you think about the Macho Man's hair? And I said, man, I tell you what, Macho Man had some really, really something kind of hair. But he told me, "Ooh, I wish you don't touch my hair." And I said, well, that's great, because I don't like anybody touching my hair. We shook hands, and that consummated what became some of the greatest matches in my career with the Macho Man.
Yeah, and if, anyone can say whatever they like about Randy, but I mean, he lived life his way, and he was always true to himself as a person and to his character.
Yes, he was, and I think the death of his even though they weren't married at the time, anytime you lose an ex-wife or an ex-family member, it affects you. And then, of course, the death of his father, who he loved so dearly, and Angelo Poffo, who was a great performer, a great wrestler, a great promoter, a great husband, and a great father to two really, really fine young men. it affected Randy to the point that we don't know what happened inside his body at the time of the accident, but I can tell you this: if it was some sort of a depression, that depression will definitely cause you some problems. And I just knowing Randy and Lanny and everything, I know that they were both depressed about their father's passing, even though, as Lanny said on our show earlier, on our, I think it was our first or second show.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That after such a long battle, as I did with my mother with cancer, and with Angelo with the problems that he had, that it came a time where you just want to say it's got to be over, but it's the hardest thing to do. And to me, for Lanny and Lanny's family, and for all the Macho Man fans out there, to take Macho Man's cremated ashes, as I've told my family here, and you guys have heard it first, Macho Man's going to be buried where his favorite animal, his dog Hercules, is buried, at his favorite tree. And he said, if that is good enough for my Hercules, it's good enough for me. And that's where Macho Man will be laid to rest. And for me and my family, I've told them time and time again, whatever happens to Honky Tonk Man, I want to be cremated. And when the wind blows out here in the desert in Arizona, toss it up in the air and say, Dad's gone on another trip.
Okay, we also have the Ultimate Warrior uploaded a couple of videos today in memory of the Macho Man, and I did talk to the Ultimate Warrior today, Honky, and he did give us permission to play an excerpt of the interview, if I could play that now.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Hey everybody, Warrior here. I was going this weekend, and I did get a couple voicemails and a couple text messages telling me that Randy had passed away. But I don't use my phone for any internet stuff, and I'm not plugged into the social networking. So I waited till I got home, and I thought what I would do is just sit down for a couple minutes and express some of my thoughts. First, I want to extend my condolences to his wife, and also to Lanny, his brother, and all the other close relatives that he has. Now, Randy, about this rest in peace thing. You know, I know that's another custom, but I'm just thinking that that's probably not going to work very well for you. So, I'm going to wish for you sort of like a Mad Max kind of world, where things are unpredictable, survival is by wits, wisdom, and might. A world where you can do there what you did here. Be the absolute best at who you truly were, who you truly were meant to be on this planet, and not give any thought or attention to what others believed you should be. That, Randy, is your legacy to me.
That was the Ultimate Warrior. If any fans wish to look at the full video blog that he did, which is about 20 minutes long, and it is really an incredible tribute to the Macho Man, you can visit ultimatewarrior.com. And Honky, I talked to the Warrior for quite a long time today, and he had very kind words directed towards you. And I know a lot of people say a lot of bad stuff about him, but he's a top guy.
Yes, and for him to come out and do this tribute to Randy, it's the professional thing that, like I've said before, and I've always defended the Warrior in whatever negativism that people have tried to say or do or about him, and the fact that he was a tremendous performer himself, and to recognize another talent like the Macho Man, and say those things that he said, then that leads me to believe that everything that I knew about the Ultimate Warrior and all the things that led up to him being featured in greatness himself, that he understood people like Macho Man, he understood people like myself, he understood what it took for him to reach that next level, same as Randy. And Randy Savage never, ever, as I said earlier, rested on his laurels. He would always have a different interview about me, a different way of saying things about me, a different way of us doing a match. That he wanted everything to be different, and for that makes him a cut above. That makes him not some lazy guy. And believe me, fans, Macho Man Randy Savage would push you to the outer limits. And as Warrior said, he was here for greatness, and his passing is not a passing of sadness for us, because I don't want to reflect on any more sadness. I want to go into, oh yeah, space is the place. I mean, that is one of the greatest lines that he ever used in any interview, and I really I appreciate the Ultimate Warrior coming on and saying those nice things about Randy, and as you said, you have some things he said very nice about me, but this is not my show tonight. This is a Macho Man Randy Savage show, and what we're doing now is we're waiting, and it's Hogan. And for all you Hogan people out there who are listening, 805-727-7113. 805-727-7113. And Hogan, we're waiting on you to call in and give us your Macho Man story. We're not going to talk negative to you about TNA or anything like that. We want you to be positive tonight. You say you live in a positive world now. You're young. Not such a young, but you've started watching Christian Network, and you turn into somewhat of a man of God. So I would expect someone like you to pick the phone up, 805-727-7113, and give us a call. Tell us what you think. Let's go to break, Steve.
Okay, guys, we'll be back in a few moments.
Sports Talk Network keep you updated in 140 characters or less. Sports Talk Network is on Twitter. Follow us at Sports Talk Net.
You're listening to the show that Hulk Hogan tweeted he doesn't want you to hear. Shake, rattle, and roll, brother. Welcome back to Shake, Rattle, and Roll with Steve Wilton and the Honky Tonk Man. Call us live on 805-727-7113. 805-727-7113.
Welcome back to a special edition of Shake, Rattle, and Roll fans, dedicated to the one and only Macho Man Randy Savage. Honky, if we go back to the phone lines, we have some guys calling in. 203-770. You're on the air with HGM.
Hold on just a sec, Steve. This is Roy, Honky's son. He's still in the bathroom. He told me to talk and say a Macho Man story. Macho Man was my childhood idol. I loved him. Anyways, here's the Honky Tonk Man to talk some more about the Macho Man.
Okay, Steve, I had to get up and go and do what nature does for us periodically. And who do we have?
Okay, 203-770. You're on the line with HGM.
Yes,
203 then.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, question for you. Thank you for taking the call. Today, do you see any wrestlers that are out there today that have the charisma or potential charisma that you or the Macho Man have?
Yes. Let me say this. This young fellow, The Miz, who is doing fantastic, and of course I've said this before on my show, and I told his dad, Bob Orton Jr., Randy Orton, he's my pick to go all the way. Of course, this fellow, The Miz, and John Cena. I mean, mind you, you can't take it away from him. He is the top guy right now, and he does a wonderful job and selling a lot of tickets, a lot of merchandise. Up and coming guys, I really don't keep up with what they're doing so much because, I have my own stuff I have to do, and I walk to the beat of a different drum. But I really hope, and I'm glad you brought this up about new up-and-coming stars, I really hope that last night's pay-per-view and nothing against my cousin Jerry Lawler, but I think Jerry himself probably, and Jim Ross, hopes this thing is over with Michael Cole, and because TV announcers, referees, and then you had to bring back Brett last night, and I knew a week ago, just after our last show last Monday, that Brett was coming back, but Brett asked me not to disclose it, and I didn't, and out of respect to him. But I really hope that this thing is over now, so they can spend more time promoting some young talent. I don't want to get onto a rant and a rave because this show's about Randy, but I don't understand why they cannot, or whoever's down in Florida or whoever's scouting talent, why they can't find someone and create someone or promo someone who has the ability to really catch on. And this is what I said on the radio show in San Francisco the other afternoon. None of the fans are gravitating to these young people. None of the fans are wanting to. I mean, they go buy the Raw tickets for whatever the price they pay, and they go see the Raw show, and they'll buy the pay-per-views. But I think they're only doing it because it's just something that wrestling fans are programmed. Oh, it's Raw, I'm going to watch it every Monday night. But I don't think the fans are really being satisfied with the talent, the writing. I don't understand these backstage cutaway interviews that look like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday soap opera, which I don't know. I mean, in today's world, mom and dad have to work. Nobody has time to watch a dadgum soap opera.
Okay, well, thanks so much for your question. That was a great question. And we have a question from the chat room asking Honky what your favorite backstage moment with the Macho Man is that we wouldn't have seen on camera.
Oh, gosh. I and I'm going to put a funny spin on this one because actually it's not. I was going to go with something else, and I'm not going to do it because it's not the proper time. I remember Macho Man sitting down with me and saying, and looking at Chief Jay Strongbow and saying, "Whoa, how many careers do you think this guy has ended? How many people do you think this guy has hurt?" He had no admiration for Chief Jay Strongbow, and neither did I. Hopefully some night Chief Jay Strongbow will come on the show and say why he did what he did to Randy and myself, or to Lanny and myself. And Lanny and I think we talked about this on our first or second show that Lanny was on, how Chief Jay Strongbow was bound and determined to disrupt our careers, but Randy and myself and Lanny never let these outside sources disrupt us. We were on a mission, and Randy was on a mission, and Randy pushed that envelope to the point that they had to promote him. And that gets me to Dick Ebersol, who was the head of NBC Sports at the time, and then Dick Ebersol became the head of a really, really high-ranking NBC official. He did the Olympics, he did all the sports shows, and of course Dick Ebersol did all the Saturday night main events. And when Dick Ebersol came along, and Dick was a great guy, and he loved Macho Man and the Miss Elizabeth, and he wanted them on every Saturday night main event, and they were on each and every Saturday night main event because it was his show on NBC. Dick Ebersol has resigned from NBC this week, so he's no longer there, and of course he suffered a terrible tragedy in a plane crash and one of his sons was killed a few years ago in Colorado. Dick was a fabulous, fantastic person. But if you watch the WWE TV shows now, and if some of the fans, if you will go back and watch some of those old Saturday night main events, you'll see these flashing lights. It looks like cameras flashing, but they're not. They're strobe lights that Dick had hanging from the ceiling all over the building, where when one of the stars walked out, it looked like 1 million cameras. And Dick Ebersol would shoot the Saturday night main event show as if it was like a baseball or a football game from a wide angle lens, and it made a 12 or 15,000 seat building look like 50,000 people. And that's what he brought to Vince, and Vince and him were extremely close friends, and Vince then was able to, we in the very beginning, when we would do our backstage interviews out of Poughkeepsie, New York, or out of Toronto, we would have a one camera angle shoot, which meant there was only one camera. But when Dick Ebersol came along to do Saturday Night Main Event, there was a 3-camera angle shoot on our interviews and our backstage. And Vince picked up on all this, and consequently has continued to use Dick Ebersol's theory and Dick Ebersol's knowledge and of all this. And Dick Ebersol was a great guy, fantastic, and he's going to be missed from NBC, and he's going to be missed from, who knows, maybe he'll sign on and do some stuff with Vince again.
I think that would be really cool because, I mean, as a fan perspective, I definitely preferred the late 80s, early 90s wrestling to how it is today. But I understand, everything has to evolve, and I'm sure the fans who are watching it now who weren't around then absolutely love it.
I remember having a meeting with Dick Ebersol in Vince's office, and Dick's idea was to have Macho Man put Liz up on his shoulder and sashay her around while the music played. And I think next time we go to break, you play that music, the intro music for Macho Man. But he put her on his. He mentioned this. We're going to have we want to have Macho, and Randy was there, and Liz was there, I was there, and Jimmy Hart, and Vince, and Pat Patterson. And he said, here's what I'd like to see. Randy, you put Liz up on your shoulder, and you sashay her around, and they did it. So if you have that music, play it.
Yeah, okay, fans, we'll go to a quick ad break, then we'll be back and we'll take some more of your calls.
SportsTalkNetwork.com, the internet broadcast giant for sports talk and entertainment programming, now features market-specific sports sites in over 12 cities, including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Canada. And we're not done yet. More markets launching soon. Your cities, your teams, your passion. We are SportsTalkNetwork.com.
This is Bret the Hitman Hart, and you're logged on to SportsTalkNetwork.com.
You're now live with the greatest WWE Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man. Shake, rattle, and roll.
This is the Honky Tonk Man, and if you want to know where we get all of our news, it's Jason Powell, Pro Wrestling.net, the number one news source, Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Welcome back, fans, to Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and a special edition dedicated to the Macho Man Randy Savage. Honky, I've had another question asking what your funniest Macho Man moment was.
Gosh, I mean, I don't know. It was, there were so many that you forget about the funny ones because. Gosh, I would have to think back, and I would have to look back at some of our matches. I remember it wasn't a funny moment, but it was a moment where he didn't like something I did, and he brought it to my attention right away. Even though he could stand on the top rope and dive off, and he could stand on the top rope and jump off to the floor, and he could catapult himself off the top rope onto the floor and do this. So the one night in Hershey, Pennsylvania, if you guys go back and watch the night of the Mega Powers, I gave Randy what's called a belly to back, which was a little bit, it was like a tiny little thing. It was not a big pick you up, hold you, and drop you. It was like a really short pick you up, drop you. And then I covered him near the ropes so that he could put his foot on the ropes, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and his foot's on the rope. I have to get up. Of all the things we did, the guitar shot, the Mega Powers, Liz straps breaking, all of that, the first thing he said to me when we got back to the locker room was, "Ooh, don't ever do that suplex to me again. I don't like it." And I said, well, yeah, but Randy, it was a perfect little spot for the 1, 2, and you put your foot on the rope. I don't care. After all of that, the Mega Powers, Hogan, Liz, the strap, that's what he told me. And I said, don't you worry, I'll never do it again.
That's awesome. And okay, if we go back to the phone lines, 602-840. You're on the line with HGM.
How you doing, Honky?
Well, I'm doing fine now. You know, everyone calls in and wants to know how I'm doing, so you just wasted 10 seconds. I don't care about how I'm doing. Ask me the question.
Yeah, I think I was just watching WrestleMania 5. Yeah, that was when the Mega Powers exploded. It's kind of real interesting. First you had Savage come down, then you had Hogan come down, and then Elizabeth comes down by herself where she ended up being in a neutral corner. It was kind of real interesting at watching Pat Patterson come down with Liz and trying to keep security away from her. It was clear that he was paranoid that that Macho didn't want security touching her. So it's
I'm glad you watched it. I haven't really gone back to watch WrestleMania 5, and I really don't go back and watch those things. But if you say that it happened, then it happened. And if Pat was involved, then obviously Pat was the security. And back then, we didn't really have security. We didn't have guys. Vince got like 4 guys that traveled with him in black suits, like the President of the United States, with earpieces and Uzis and shit like that. I'm sorry, it's a family show. With things like that, and they have like 50. In fact, Sergeant Slaughter mentioned last week on our show that security for the outdoor show at the Anaheim or at the LA Coliseum outside would have been $4 million. And when Vince heard about $4 million security, he says, "Whoop, we're going to move this thing inside." So, but yes, if that happened, it happened, and I don't think I was part of WrestleMania 5 with those guys. And if you guys, if everyone, and Brett and I, this weekend, let me get this little quick plug in. This past weekend, I was with Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, Valentine, Jimmy Hart, Tony Atlas, Diamond Dallas Page, Don Morocco, Jim D'Anvers Neidhart, and I mentioned something to Brett about these kind of things and the security and all that stuff, and we really didn't have this security they have nowadays, and no one did. But back to the weekend with these people, each and every one of these guys I just mentioned all had nothing but solemn gratitude and condolences to Macho Man, Lanny, and all the family members.
Thank you. Yeah, and going back to the WrestleMania 5 question, I think it's worth remembering that all of the rails and the fans were so much closer to the ring and the entrance than they are today. You could literally just reach out and grab somebody, so I'm not surprised that Vince or Randy had security for Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Randy was very protective of Liz, and I can understand why. If it was my wife or my daughter, I wasn't very protective of Sensational Sherry when she was dressed like Peggy Sue, but that's another story. But Randy was extremely protective of Liz, and he was protective of Lanny and protective of himself and his family, and he was a different kind of an individual. And even my family, I took notes from Randy about when there's a family issue in our own family here at our house, we close ranks, and it's nobody's business but ours, and we keep it that way.
Okay, and just to remind the fans, if they want to call in and share their memories or stories on the Macho Man, you can call us on 805-727-7113. And that's actually quite a good point for me to mention that I used to do Lanny Poffo's official website, lannypoffo.com, and machomadness.com. And a lot of fans really don't know about Randy, that he retired and left the wrestling scene because Angelo Poffo, his legendary father, was starting to get old, starting to get ill, and Randy loves his family more than anybody could love family, and that's why he decided to retire from wrestling so he could spend some time with Angelo and his mum. And Lanny and Randy both visited their parents every single day. I mean, every day I talked to Lanny, they'd either both been there or they were on the way there, and they really took care of their parents, which is why Randy retired from wrestling.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, Steve. And like I said, again, let me bring up the number in American English, as you did so eloquently in UK English. 805-727-7113. 805-727-7113. And to reflect on your point, that the fans did not understand why Macho Man totally dropped out of sight. He dropped out of sight to take care of his father.
That's right.
That's what he did. And the fans could not, the fans sometimes, and you fans listening, you don't really understand what happens to us someday when you don't see us on TV anymore, or you don't hear from us anymore. But he dropped out of sight to be with his ailing father, who he loved to the utmost. And if he was here today, and if his mother, who is still alive and well, if it had been his mother, or if it had been Lanny, or if it had been someone who's really close to him, that's how he did business. Family came first, business came second. And that brings me to Hogan. Obviously, Hogan, and for all you fans of Hogan out there, and for all you TNA fans, why can't Hogan call us right now and for 2 minutes say something positive about Macho Man? I don't want your ratings, Hogan. I could care less about your ratings. I could care less if it means 10,000 more people listen to this show, because I'm going to get 10,000 people with or without you. Why don't you call us and tell us? There's probably 30, 40, 50,000 people listening right now around the world, but you will not call in and say one word about the Macho Man or the Mega Powers. You are such a coward. You are such a lowlife. And I don't want to go into, I said the show is going to be positive. I'm going to leave it that way. I don't even want to mention Hogan again the rest of the night.
Okay, if we go back to the phone lines, 414-429. You're on the line with HGM, 414.
What's going on there, HGM? Jimmy Decker calling in the house.
Jimmy Decker. Jimmy Decker is my booking agent from Wisconsin. Jimmy Decker books the Three's Company girls. Jimmy books Priscilla Barnes and... Listen. Jimmy, are you with me?
I'm here, Honky. Just calling to say to the Randy Savage family my condolences.
Yes. Jimmy Decker books Priscilla. He books Honky Tonk Man, Priscilla Barnes, and Joyce DeWitt. And I tell you what, fans, if you've never been around Honky Tonk Man, Priscilla Barnes, and Joyce DeWitt, any chance you get to come and see us three together, we are Three's Company, and we don't need that other gal.
I hear you. All right, so I just wanted to call in and give my condolences there, Honky Tonk, and I'll be here, and I'll be talking to you later this evening, I guess.
Okay, I'll call you later tonight, Jimmy. Thank you for calling.
All right.
Okay, Jimmy, thanks so much for calling. If we go to 203715, you're on the air with HGM.
Hey, Honky Tonk, how you doing tonight, man?
Okay, don't ask me how I'm doing. Just get to the question because you wasted 10 seconds.
No, I just wanted to, well, my name's Anthony. I'm a friend of Steve's, and I'm also a huge fan of yours. Just did want to say my Macho Man memory is involved you. It was the Saturday night's main event there, the Mega Powers forming. That was just an excellent moment in history. Now, your personal opinion, and I know it's a time of condolence. I mean, I don't really want to get into controversial items here, but what is this tension, this horrible, whatever it may be, between Vince McMahon and Randy Savage that kept him, out of, I mean, they've always reached out to you for the Hall of Fame, rightfully deserved. But what what kept Randy from ever making a second comeback or even a Royal Rumble appearance, as you've made many over the years? What's your take on that?
Well, I really appreciate that question, but I have no inside knowledge on it, and that's one man's decision against another man's asking you something. And if I've turned WWE down on several occasions, as probably as much as Macho Man has, and we have our own personal reasons why we do it, and we'll never know now, and but I think and I would hope someday that Randy goes into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame or the Cauliflower Alley Hall of Fame or something of that nature, because he's so deserving of it, and his father's so deserving of it. See, people, we're sitting here tonight and we're talking about so much about Macho Man, but lest we forget, just a few months ago, his loving father passed away, who was a fantastic, great promoter who opened his own territory. He had Bob Orton Jr. He had one-man gang. He had Ronnie Garvin. He opened up in Kentucky and West Virginia, and some of the roughest places in the world to have to go wrestle. And to that, I think, should an Abdullah the Butcher or should a limo driver or should a Drew Carey be in the Hall of Fame as opposed to a Angelo Poffo or a Macho Man Randy Savage? That's all remains to be seen, but I think in my voice you can hear what I'm saying about the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and I agree with everything you just said there, Angelo. A legendary name in the business, highly regarded, highly respected, and for him to be disregarded over somebody like a Drew Carey, which has its moments, its entertainment value, I guess, but to completely disregard people of that stature, to put that entertainment value out there. I heard from what I had to hear, they had to cut a lot of the. Not to get off topic, but they had to cut a lot of Drew Carey's televised induction short due to the just a raining of boos and heckling from the crowd in attendance there.
I'm so glad that Randy stood up to his morals. He stood up to what he believed in, same as the Ultimate Warrior. They have stood up to what they believe in, the same as I have. And they've not knuckled under to nonsense. To I know it's a family show, but I'm going to say bullshit. and I'm so proud of each and every one of these individuals who and we're extremely WWE positive. Don't get me wrong, because I have a good relationship with them now, and even though they've pushed my Mattel doll back from October of 2010 to October 2011, and then pushed it back to October 2012, that's just how they do business. And for Randy to stand firm and do what he did, I commend him. And if there was some way I could stand under that tree, I would be there for him.
Man, that's awesome. That's just an emotional moment right there.
Thank you so
another
much.
thing I got a kick out of is Hogan was saying recently how, speaking of Randy standing to his morals, like you said, when they wanted to shoot those things for his Mattel doll on the WWE All Stars game there, Hogan was saying how they made Randy made them come to his house and do all the promotional video. And if you want to do it, you got to come to my backyard and do it.
Well, I said I was never going to mention Hogan again tonight. I know it's a family show, but Hogan's dog shit. Okay, thank you.
And I just have one quick question. Is if anybody knows it, it's you. Just one good either road story, locker room memory, something either funny, positive, memorable about Randy?
Well, I mentioned about Randy's hair. He says, "Ooh, don't touch my hair." I said, "Well, you don't touch mine." He said, "Ooh, we're going to get along really well." Thank you for your call.
All right, Honky. No, I appreciate you discussing those things with me. And again, I want to offer my condolences to you and every other fan and professional wrestler out there, and the Poffo family, and who's dealing with this tragedy. So you have a good night, Steve. You have a good night too, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, make sure if you're going to make a donation, and fans, please do this. This is something that it's really good, and I know some of you might be listening. You sent money to Jim Baker and those kind of guys, and you send money to everyone else. All Children's Hospital, Tampa, Florida, in the name of Macho Man Randy Savage. And Steve, you have the link, but it's All Children's Hospital, Tampa, Florida, in the name of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, it's www.orchids.org, which is ALLKIDS.org. Don't send flowers, money, cards. Help change child's life.
No. And as I said on Saturday night in Newark, California, for the Big Time Wrestling Show, for all the fans who see me, and someone wrote somewhere that I had a Hooters cap on with a fake hairpiece.
I saw that.
Well, let me tell you, folks, I don't have a fake hairpiece. And for you fans who really know me, you know that I donate my hair to Locks of Love for children with cancer to have wigs made, so that we can touch some child's life. And if you have long hair, don't cut it and have it thrown away. Send it to Locks of Love, and it's anonymous. Nobody knows about it. That's what I do. And for Randy, it's All Children's Hospital, Tampa, Florida.
And it's also a very private part of his life that obviously many fans didn't know about, and he supported them for many years, and used to read to the children, visit to the children, as does Lanny.
Yes, absolutely. Let's take a break and do some Macho Man music.
Okay, guys, we'll be back in a few moments.
Your cities, your teams, your passion. SportsTalkNetwork.com, the internet broadcast giant for sports talk and entertainment.
Welcome back to Shake, Rattle, and Roll with Steve Wilton and the Honky Tonk Man. Call us live on 805-727-7113. 805-727-7113.
Welcome back to Shake, Rattle, and Roll, fans. Special edition for the Macho Man, Randy Savage. If you want to call into the show, you can call us on 805-727-7113. Honky, a fan has asked what you think is the most misunderstood thing about the Macho Man.
I think that really the most misunderstood thing about Randy was that he was a distant person that did not, a lot of guys say, well, I didn't get along with him because he was distant. He didn't come around and be like real friendly. Well, you don't have to be really friendly to be a great guy in the business. And Randy and I became extremely close, and I really think before his passing this weekend, he probably would have came on our show and we could have had a conversation, because as distant as he was, he walked to the beat of a different drum the same as I do. And we had a great rapport. We had a great time together. We enjoyed each other's company. We enjoyed traveling together. We enjoyed sitting on the planes together. We enjoyed being in the locker room together. And Lanny was there, and Lanny will tell you, and we're going to get Lanny on when everything settles, and then he'll tell you the same thing. And Liz was, every conversation Liz and Randy and I had was so extremely positive. It was, you can't sell 22,000 tickets every night if you don't really like each other. And we did it for months and months and months and months after months. And the fans don't remember that although they think the greatest match of WrestleMania 3 was Randy and Ricky Steamboat, let me remind the fans, Ricky Steamboat held the Intercontinental belt for somewhere around 8 weeks. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from Ricky Steamboat. He's a great worker. I love to have matches with him, and we did not have a lot of matches, but we had some great matches. But he held the Intercontinental belt for 8 weeks. He lost the belt to me. I held it for 64 weeks, but Randy held that belt before him. And Randy was a great Intercontinental champion. And Randy became a great world champion. He took the torch from Hogan, and he carried that torch. And like the Ultimate Warrior said, he was a professional who knew how to make it work. He knew how to push the envelope to the edge, to the point where it was turn away crowds every night. And to my friend, the Ultimate Warrior, who I love dearly, who I gave so much advice to, he took my advice and he did the same thing, and he learned from Randy also.
And I think what's worth mentioning too is that Randy was the spokesperson of Slim Jim and in that major motion picture Spider-Man, and that's goals that Hogan's never been able to reach.
Well, I said we would not mention Hogan again tonight, but obviously there's not one Hogan person out there. If they're on the line, I want you to screen them, pull them up, and say, "Are you a Hogan fan friendly?" And say, "How come Hogan will not call us tonight and say something positive about the Macho Man?"
Okay, and we have a question from the chat room. Did you ever wrestle Randy before your run in the WWF?
No, we did not. We had never. I had worked when I was in Nashville, working myself and Larry Latham, who was Spot Moondog, and we were the Blonde Bombers. The Nashville promoter, Nick Goulas, sent to us in some place, Somerset or someplace in Kentucky, I don't know. But that night, I met Randy, I met Lanny, I met the One-Man Gang. The One-Man Gang was 18 years old, 350 pounds, long brown hair, and I met two boys who were the tag team champions. Doug Vines and gosh, what was that boy's name? His last name was Sword. I remember Doug Vines because Doug was from Alabama. They were the tag team champions, and Lanny and Randy and his dad, and we worked on a show, and I don't remember who we wrestled, but that was the first time of meeting them, and I did not meet or see them again until we got to WWE. And as Lanny said, the first match he ever had with me, and we had our match, and we had a great chemistry. He said, "You're the first person in WWE who said thank you for the match." On the 1, 2, 3, I whispered in his ear, "Thank you so much." And for that, we became friends, and it's I really don't want this to be a sad day, but I love both of them guys. Macho Man and Randy.
And I think it's worth mentioning as well.
Macho Man and Lanny, I mean, you know what? I was hoping so much, and I'm getting really teary-eyed, because Lanny and I were going to be tag team on Saturday night. He had to turn around and go back. Let's go to break.
SportsTalkNetwork.com, the internet broadcast giant for sports talk and entertainment programming, now features market-specific sports sites in over 12 cities, including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Canada. And we're not done yet. More markets launching soon. Your cities, your teams, your passion. We are SportsTalkNetwork.com.
This is Bret the Hitman Hart, and you're logged on to SportsTalkNetwork.com.
You're now live with the greatest WWE Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Welcome back to a special edition of Shake Rattle Roll, fans. We just have under 8 minutes left of the show. It's been a very emotional night for all of us, and I think it was worth mentioning as well that when Lanny came on the show with us a few weeks ago, he mentioned how much of a fan of Honky's character the great Angelo Poffo was.
Yeah, I mean, that was emotional for me, and that's why I'm so saddened by this. And I don't want to end on a sad note, but as I've said earlier, for anyone who wants to make any kind of donation to the Children's Hospital in Tampa, it's All the Children's Hospital in the name of Macho Man Randy Savage, Tampa, Florida. And Steve, you give them the link. And
yeah, it's www.allkids.org. You can visit the website 24 hours a day. You can donate by PayPal, by in person, or you can even call them up. They would really prefer to have money donated rather than having flowers and cards sent, things like that.
Yes, just money donations because of children. And we had a lot of news tonight. We had Terry Taylor getting fired from TNA, and Randy Orton with a Walmart, fans getting arrested, and Rock on Tough Enough tonight. MMA coming to New York, finally New York State. How come TNA house shows numbers? I mean, you guys go out there and you tell us who won the match, who lost the match. How come you can't tell us how many people were there? That's what we want to know. We don't care who won and lost. Was it 200, 300, 400? And, of course, Ring of Honor sold the company to Sinclair Sinclair Broadcasting, and we really did not have time. Bruce Pritchard, who is taking over now for Terry Taylor, we didn't really have time tonight for everything because tonight was a Macho Man night, and you know what? I really wish I could have been sitting there, the last picture they made with Macho Man at the baseball game and him and I together. It's let me say it like this before we go off the air. Can you play that clip real quick from the One Wrestling?
Yeah, no problem at all. This is a clip from BellAptus1Wrestling.com when Honky was approached on the day of Macho's passing.
And they were
I know we're kind of catching you off guard, but we got the news, of course, that Randy Savage has passed away in a horrible accident. Your reaction to the death of Macho Man?
Terrible tragedy, and my heart goes out and sympathy and condolences to Macho Man's family, and of course Lanny and Macho Man's wife, who we understand is injured in the accident also. So many fond memories of Randy, and the year or so we had matches together, and we clicked and had so much fun, and I enjoyed being around him. He was such a professional all the time, and he, truly going to be missed, and a great professional for our business.
What set him apart from the pack?
He was intense, and he had a passion for what he did, and he wanted every match that he and I were in to be better than the one we had before, and that's what I say. He's a cut above in professionalism of a lot of guys that I knew.
Last question I'm asking all the people who knew him. If somebody wrote a book about Randy Savage and they came to you and said, what should we title this book? What would it be?
Oh, yeah. Space is a place.
Okay, that was Honky on Randy's passing when he was approached the same day. He was also on tour with Bret the Hitman Hart, who also posted comments, and I can't imagine that was an easy weekend.
Okay, play the song.
Okay, fans, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week with Rick the Model Martel. And Honky, all the fans wanted to say thank you for doing this tonight, which was a difficult show for you.
Yes, it was, and I want to say thank you to Ken Shamrock for saying he'll come later, and next week Ricky Martel, and thanks to the fans and for everyone who wrote and called in, and Macho Man, I love you, brother. Bye.